This video focuses in on how to create features or add new data to a GIS map. Right? Much of the focus of our work generally is about going ahead and accessing available data sets and pulling that down and using them within our projects. But sometimes the information is too local and unavailable through statewide data sets. This is an example of that. This happens to be, let me stay here for a second. This happens to be the Wildcat Creek River in central Indiana that flows from Kokomo to just north of Lafayette, where it meets the Wabash River. The Wildcat Creek is the watershed that's highlighted here in light blue, right? So this is the waterway that's flowing through here. And it is known regionally as a paddling river. So it's, a lot of water-based recreation enthusiasts come and use this river. In fact, the Wildcat Creek Guardians is the group that approached us to create this map, specifically because they need an accurate map to provide those interested in water-based recreation with a safe way to access publicly available and appropriate public access sites to the waterway, so that people aren't trespassing on private land and creating additional conflict with landowners along the waterway. So this is a great example of information that is far too local. If I go ahead and jump into this map, they've been using a map for years, but over time they've continued just to go ahead and hand edit this map, try and do their best based on local knowledge and local information. And you can see there's even some confusion about kind of exactly where some of the elements are within this map. And so that's what we're going to be doing here, is that we need to go ahead for these roughly 19 locations, these Wildcat Creek access points, we need to go ahead and add a symbol to the map for where these locations actually are. And so how do we go about doing that? Well, first we're going to focus in on the Wildcat Creek Park, or the Wildcat Park, which is located at 5277 Eisenhower Road in Lafayette, Indiana. Right? It's a 53-acre park located right along the river. Well, we could just go and try and find that in the GIS environment, but to be honest, we have better resources for this. So one of the things I'd suggest using is use Google Earth or another similar mapping software. And you can see that I started typing Wildcat Creek Park in here, and it immediately went ahead and flagged this location for me. And I'm going to go ahead and stop it as it starts to zoom in there. But we can start to see where this is located. I-65 comes through here. We have the Hoosier Heartland Corridor, or Indiana 25, coming through here. Here's the river flowing through. And what we'll actually start to see is that this is the confluence of the main branch of the Wildcat with the middle and southern fork where they come in, and there's a confluence right there. So we're going to go back into our GIS environment. The first thing we need to do to add new data to a GIS map is we need to go to Art Catalog. Within Art Catalog, go ahead and navigate to the folder where you're saving information for this particular project and go to New. New allows us to go ahead and create a new shapefile. Now we can create points, polylines, or polygons, whichever we want. For this particular activity, we're going to use points. Well, these are going to be our access points along the river, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick name. The other significant thing we need to do at this stage is that we need to give it a spatial reference. And basically we need this brand new created layer. We need to tell it how to project onto the Earth's surface. This is a relatively straightforward problem. Every single GIS layer has a spatial data reference. So one of the best things to do is, I'm already using several layers. I'm using layers to show the rivers, the lakes, the watershed boundaries, the county boundaries are also within this particular map. So I suggest just go ahead where it says Add Coordinate System right here next to this globe. Go ahead and click on Import. And what Import will allow you to do is it will allow you to navigate to another layer that you're currently using. In this case for me, I'm going to navigate to where I have the Census County layer. And I'm going to go ahead and click Add. And what you're going to see is it's going to immediately jump into the NAD 1983 Zone 16N projection. We could go into all of the details of what that is, but the workable part of this is that now this is available. It's in the correct format. I can go ahead and click OK. That means that any data I add to this particular map will be projected correctly. So adding points is a relatively straightforward thing. So creating new points, lines, polygons in a GIS environment is very simple. First thing you do is that you go up and you go to Customize, you go to Toolbars, and you turn your Editor toolbar on. You go over to Editor, you click on Start Editing, I'm going to click on access points, the layer I just created, and then I'm going to scroll over here to the end of that editor toolbar, and right at the end it has create features. Underneath create features, I can go to access points, and I can come down here to the bottom, click on construction tools. I want points, and realistically I'm now creating information, right? You can see that, look at all of these new places. I'm just kind of putting, again, these are now spatially referenced points that I'm creating. They have absolutely no meaning unless I step in and give them meaning. And so when I'm done with that, I can just go ahead and stop editing. I can save my edits. I can go in and I can change the symbol on each one of those. So I can come in and grab, a large symbol so that it'll actually pop out a little bit better. And you can see now I've created my own data. I could do the same thing with polygons, right? There's lots and lots of different times where we create this application. But remember, we're actually trying to identify specific points here. And so one of the things that I went ahead and did already is that I went ahead and actually identified where the Wildcat Creek Park is. And so the first of these 19 access points along the Wildcat Creek. And one of the things I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and turn off the other layers. And I just want to zoom in. Oops, let's just go ahead. There we go. I just want to zoom in on this particular location and show you that what I did is I navigated down to that site. I-65 is off on my left before I click zoom again. What you're going to see is this is the confluence of the southern and middle branch coming together with the main branch. This is that 53-acre park for the Wildcat Creek. This is the process for adding your own data to maps. I hope you enjoy using this information for this assignment and for future efforts.